Deemed acceptance is a crucial concept in contract law that can significantly impact business agreements. It refers to situations where a party is assumed to have accepted the terms of a contract based on their actions, inaction, or conduct, even without explicit verbal or written consent. There are several types of deemed acceptance. The first is acceptance by conduct. This occurs when a party's actions clearly imply agreement with the contract terms. For example, if a company receives and uses products without rejecting them within a specified time frame, this can indicate acceptance. Similarly, continuing to use services provided under a contract without raising objections may be seen as acceptance. Verbal acceptance is another form of deemed acceptance. An oral contract can be established by simply responding affirmatively to a request. If a contractor offers to perform landscaping for $4,000 and you reply, "Let's go for it," you've entered into a verbal contract. While this is legally binding, written contracts are generally easier to enforce. Nonverbal communication can also imply acceptance in some cases. Nodding, gestures, or even written confirmations that lack explicit agreement might be considered binding in certain situations. However, for legal certainty, contracts should clearly specify how both verbal and nonverbal actions may constitute acceptance. Silent acceptance is a more complex form of deemed acceptance. In most cases, taking no action does not constitute acceptance of a contract. However, there are exceptions. For instance, if there's a pre-existing relationship between parties, silence might be interpreted as acceptance. An example would be a bakery that has been ordering flour from the same supplier for years. If the supplier informs the bakery of a price increase and the bakery doesn't respond, the supplier might assume the bakery wants to continue the arrangement. It's important to note that for silence to be considered acceptance, certain conditions must be met. These include the absence of an express contract, the offer of a service, due notice from the offering party, and full knowledge of all conditions by the party being offered the service. The concept of deemed acceptance carries significant legal implications and risks. It can help ensure clarity and limit disputes by defining acceptance terms. However, it can also lead to complications if one party is unresponsive or unaware of the conditions. To mitigate these risks, contracts should include clear guidelines on what constitutes acceptance. In conclusion, deemed acceptance plays a vital role in contract law, affecting how businesses enter into and interpret agreements. Understanding its various forms and implications is crucial for protecting interests and establishing clear expectations in contractual relationships. Always remember that well-drafted contracts specifying the circumstances under which deemed acceptance applies can safeguard all parties involved and reduce the potential for disputes.